Isn't she the one who botched basic recon? I wouldn't even trust her to carry my gear, let alone command a unit. The snickering was low but relentless. The sound was corrosive. It didn't let up, not even when she slowly rolled up her sleeve. A strange black ink tattoo, partially veiled by grime, emerged. The geometric shapes were sharp, calculated. The entire room froze. One man, General Myron Keane, rose to his feet, his 4 decades in uniform demanding attention. His tone dropped low, cold, cutting through the sudden silence. "Where did you get that mark?" Ever seen silence strike harder than a shout? What followed was a moment of profound recognition and dread. Redmond Base sat like a slab of concrete on the Texas plains, remote, roofless, and filled with restless, judgmental eyes. Today's subject, Sergeant Nenah Ror, 29. Her shoulders were set like stone beneath the crushing weight of suspicion. The whispers followed her constantly, in corridors, over meals, at the training grounds. Always the same tale, bent and reshaped until fact was a stranger. "Heard she abandoned her squad in Syria," Private Dawson mumbled during the morning lineup. "Froze and got 3 of her men shot. My guy in Delta says she's been busted down twice." The rumors gained speed like a rock slide, each version heavier, more embarrassing than the last. The truth, buried deep in sealed files, no longer mattered to the barrack jury. PT kicked off at 600. Ropes, walls, endurance drills. Nenah tackled them all with cold, surgical efficiency, but no one got close. Invisible walls made of rumors and shame held strong. "Need help with that rope, Roar? Wouldn't want you freezing mid-climb again," Corporal Voss taunted. A ripple of careless chuckles swept through the squad. Nenah had become a walking warning label. She said nothing. Back when the investigation twisted her testimony into failure, she'd learned silence was safer. It became her armor, yet it did little to deflect the daily, low-grade judgment. 2 years of honorable service were being systematically erased by whispered suspicion and administrative apathy. During gear check, she shrugged off her jacket until someone noticed the ink, a tattoo. Sharp, dark ink etched into skin, shapes built like geometry, framing what looked like a phoenix but sharper, calculated, more like classified insignia than mere body art. Private Ortega snapped a picture. Within minutes, the image was all over the base chats. Lieutenant Carter, young and ambitious, spotted the tattoo. "That's some piece of ink, Sergeant. Got a story behind it?" "Something like that, sir." Her voice flat, offering nothing, just a nod and retreat. Carter moved on, but the image stayed with him. He'd seen that design before, somewhere that mattered, something off limits. The day rolled on with its quiet cruelty. Water bottles conveniently misplaced, excluded from every casual talk. She sat alone at the far end of the mess hall, eating MRE rations. She was cut off, socially, professionally, emotionally. Her phone buzzed, unknown number. Saw that ink online, bold pic. She erased the message. That symbol wasn't for display. It was meant to remind her of what couldn't be told. Sutat Bidong Ken, Operation Phoenix Variant. A year and a half back, she'd gone by a different name. Operation Phoenix Variant demanded total, absolute erasure. Tier 6 ops required everything to vanish, including the people behind them. They'd gone into the Triangle of Death, a zone so lethal it was marked red on every map. 7 operators tasked with pulling out a political prisoner. Intel said the op was suicide dressed up as strategy. No paperwork, no safety net, no plan B. If they failed, they would disappear like smoke. The insertion was flawless. They reached the target and got the acid out clean. Then the trap was sprung. 6 teammates were dead in 30 seconds. Nenah and the prisoner, a journalist who had exposed brutal truths, took cover. She had 2 options, escape and survive, or carry the mission through with 0 chance. She picked the impossible. 3 hours of relentless street fighting, ducking from ruins to smoke, dragging a man who couldn't walk. Her comms were dead, backup gone. But she got him out, reached the alternate pickup site where a chopper hovered. She loaded him aboard, then held off the enemy from a crumbling rooftop under a hail of gunfire. The bird couldn't come back for her, she knew. She'd given the order herself. 4 days later, she crossed into friendly ground on foot, exhausted, bleeding, but alive. The debrief took 6 hours. Every scrap of that mission was documented, examined, then locked away under layers of top-level clearance. Operation Phoenix Variant never officially existed.
Her bravery couldn't be celebrated without exposing state secrets, so instead they sent her to Redmond Base with a fake disciplinary file. Tactical blunders, friendly fire casualties, fiction crafted to mask a success. But the lie had grown legs, fed by silence and the assumptions of people who should have known better.
One day, deep in the warehouse, she found an old set of maps marked for disposal. One map made her stop cold. Its grid was marked with the same angular shapes as her tattoo, the very same lines, the geometric phoenix. It was proof. Covert ops no one had ever admitted took place. She snapped a photo and sent it to a secure number. "They still don't recognize the emblem," she typed. "How long do I wait?" The reply came fast. "Patience. Truth builds momentum." That afternoon, a few junior soldiers followed her into the supply building. Tick-tock time, they called it. They shoved crates, dumped grease on her uniform, and laughed while she cleaned it in silence. Lieutenant Carter saw it from the doorway, his face rigid. To question the myth was to risk his own career, so he stayed put, witnessing abuse. That night, he couldn't sleep. He started digging into the tattoo's origin. Deep databases, old blacked-out files. The fragments painted a picture that defied belief. General Myron Keane's inspection visits were infamous. He showed up unannounced. Nenah Ror stayed on task, sorting equipment inside the warehouse. Keane spotted her immediately. Her movements were efficient, almost too sharp for her rank. She carried the gravity of a true veteran. He stepped closer. Her sleeve slipped back. The ink, the black lines wrapping an angular phoenix, froze him mid-step. He'd seen that emblem before, in hush-hush briefings behind locked doors. He raised his voice, quiet but commanding. "Sergeant?" Nenah turned sharply, snapping to attention with combat speed. "Where did you get that mark?" he asked. "Tier 6 Phoenix variant," she said clearly. 7 in, 1 out. Everything stilled. General Keane's expression shifted fast from suspicion to reverence. He remembered Phoenix variant, a mission accomplished by shadows. "Lieutenant Carter," he barked, "I need this soldier's file. Not the standard record, the black archive." The order spread like fire. The general had recognized that emblem on the washout's arm. Soldiers who had mocked her for months now desperately tried to vanish. Lieutenant Carter returned within the hour, holding a file stamped with clearances he hadn't known existed. General Keane read in silence, his expression hardening. The truth was brutal. Nenah Ror wasn't disgraced. She was one of their best, buried by bureaucracy to shield secrets. The failure pinned to her name was a lie, fed by the silence of the institution. "Sergeant Ror," Keane's voice echoed through the warehouse. She stepped forward with the sure gait of a soldier reporting for duty. "I owe you an apology," Keane said aloud, his words carrying across the gathering. "This entire institution does. While you kept our secret safe, we failed to protect your name." Lieutenant Carter stepped toward her, his voice small but earnest. "Sir, I saw what they did. I should have acted. I should have asked more questions. You should have believed a fellow soldier." Keane cut in, his eyes scanning the group. "All of you should have." The fallout was undeniable. The footage of Nenah covered in grease hit the net. The humiliation she endured became a national moral reckoning. 3 weeks later, the military held a closed-door recognition. General Keane read from the document. Sergeant First Class Nenah Ror displayed extraordinary courage. Her actions prevented a wider conflict. The Defense Superior Service Medal and the Bronze Star with Valor. The medals were heavier than they looked, for what they cost. 2 years of silence, shame, and isolation. I neglected my responsibility. I offer a formal apology, and will accept any consequences you see fit. She turned to him. "Apology accepted, Lieutenant. Remember this. Protect the ones who can't protect themselves." Her voice held no bitterness, just tired truth. The ceremony closed with unexpected orders. Instead of returning to Black Ops, Nenah requested to join the Warrior Transition Unit, the place where wounded soldiers learn to live again. "Sergeant, that's not where someone with your record belongs," Keane argued. "With respect, sir, I've spent 2 years knowing what it feels like to be abandoned. That experience might be useful to someone else." Her story, though sealed by official silence, sparked the Silent Emblem Project, an initiative to correct the records of hidden service members. 1 year later, the ROR Legacy Training Program launched, its insignia the stylized phoenix. Lieutenant Colonel Carter, now head of ethics training, stood before the first class. Character doesn't reveal itself during applause. It shows up when no one's clapping. In a quiet corner of Colorado, far from any base, Nenah Ror ran a transition center, small, discreet, for special operations veterans who lived in shadows. They found her through whispers. A new client, an Army Ranger, arrived. "I read what happened to you. I think I need someone who understands that." Nenah pulled back her sleeve, let the ink speak. "Tell me what you can't tell anyone else," she said. That night, she sat with other vets by a fire. Here, the silence didn't isolate, it united. Her phone buzzed, secure line. New referral, Navy SEAL, 3 tours. "Sounds familiar," she typed back. 1 bed open, send the coordinates when ready. Tomorrow would bring new stories, but tonight, surrounded by stillness and the slow, certain rhythm of healing, Nenah Ror was exactly where she needed to be. In the dark, where the real work gets done, where heroes come back.